The Galactic Council's most respected xenobiologist, Dr. Kethvar of the Zephyrian Collective, stared at the holographic display with 4 of his 6 eyes, while the remaining 2 twitched in disbelief. The survival simulation parameters glowed an ominous crimson, indicating a Class 15 Deathworld scenario, the highest classification in the Council's database. "This is madness," whispered his assistant, Treelock, her crystalline carapace reflecting the warning lights. "No species has ever survived beyond Class 12. The atmospheric toxicity alone would dissolve most organic matter within minutes." Kethvar's mandibles clicked nervously as he reviewed the environmental conditions. Gravity at 3.7 standard units, atmospheric pressure that would crush most beings instantly, surface temperatures fluctuating between -80 and 120 degrees Celsius, and an atmosphere composed primarily of sulfuric compounds with trace amounts of chlorine gas. The terrain featured active volcanism, acidic rainfall, and predatory flora that had evolved to consume metal. "The humans insisted on these parameters," Kethvar muttered, scrolling through the communication logs. "They specifically requested what they termed nightmare mode, after completing every other classification with what they called disappointing ease. The test had been designed as the ultimate challenge for the galaxy's apex survivors, a theoretical limit that no biological entity could overcome. It was meant to be a mathematical proof of the boundaries of life itself, not an actual trial. Yet here were the humans, treating it like a casual weekend activity. The first human to enter the simulation chamber was Dr. Sarah Chun, a compact woman whose unassuming appearance belied her status as Earth's premier survival specialist. She wore nothing but standard-issue atmospheric gear and carried minimal equipment, a decision that had sent the observing scientists into collective panic. "Beginning simulation," announced the automated system as the chamber's environment transformed into hell incarnate. Dr. Chen's first action defied all expectations. Instead of seeking shelter, she began collecting samples of the corrosive atmosphere using improvised containers fashioned from her own equipment. When the acidic rain began, she didn't flee. She constructed a collection system and began drinking the filtered liquid. "Impossible," breathed Treelock. "That solution should be dissolving her internal organs." But Chun moved with purposeful efficiency, her body somehow processing the toxic environment as if it were merely inconvenient weather. She identified edible minerals in the volcanic soil, fashioned tools from the aggressive plant life, and even domesticated one of the smaller predatory species by offering it refined sulfur compounds she had synthesized from the ambient atmosphere. By day 3, she had constructed a sustainable shelter using indigenous materials. By day 7, she had established a thriving microecosystem around her base. By day 14, she was actively improving the local environment, her presence somehow catalyzing beneficial chemical reactions in the soil. The observation team watched in stunned silence as Chun not only survived but flourished in conditions that should have been instantly lethal. Her biological readings remained stable, even optimal, as if her body had simply adapted to treat the hellscape as home. "How?" Kethvar's voice cracked through the intercom. Chun looked up at the hidden cameras and smiled. "Oh, this reminds me of the Australian outback during bushfire season. Bit more sulfur in the air, but you adapt." She paused, collecting another sample. "Though I have to say, whoever designed this did a great job. It's almost as challenging as that camping trip my grandmother took me on when I was 8. The simulation ended not because Chun had failed, but because the observation team had run out of recording storage. She had not merely survived the impossible, she had made it look routine. In the debriefing chamber, surrounded by the galaxy's most distinguished scientists, Chun was asked to explain humanity's secret. Her answer sent ripples of existential dread through the council. "Secret?" she laughed. "We evolved on Earth. Everything else is just a vacation." The Class 15 Deathworld designation was quietly retired the following day. Some challenges, the council realized, weren't meant to be overcome. They were meant to reveal that some species had already overcome far worse simply by existing.